You're with the Online Radio Training School, and we're continuing our series on turning a sermon recording into a radio program or a podcast. In our last video, we set up our equipment to get a great recording. Now let's go ahead and make the recording. On the day of recording, I recommend that the sound engineer does not operate the audio recorder, because their priority is delivering great sound to the congregation, and they've got enough to do. Better to give the job of recording to a dedicated person who can remember to push the record button. They need to stay with the recording machine for the full duration of the sermon. Now, even though you're using the same equipment as the last time you recorded, settings may have been tampered with. So keep a note of all your settings and set up and test afresh each time. If at all possible, plug headphones into the recording device and listen while you record. That way you are hearing what the listeners will hear, and you can quickly identify and fix any problems. Now, what about recording? I suggest a sample rate of at least 44/100 and 16-bit. 48,000 at 24-bit is even better. Make sure you start recording before the preacher starts speaking and stop it after they've finished. Better to record too much than to miss some very important content. Now, immediately after you press the stop button, save your recording. Please save it as a WAV file, because this is better for editing later. While you're recording, watch the volume meters on the recording software. Now, my recommendation is that your levels peak between -12 and -6. It must never reach 0. If you need to adjust the recording level, remember to do it on the auxiliary knob, not on the fader on the mixer. Make any level changes very slowly and gently so that they are not noticeable to the ear. And please make sure that no other channels on the mixer are accidentally feeding audio into your auxiliary loop. Only the pastor's microphone should be turned up. It is almost impossible to extricate the preacher's voice later if it's mixed in with audio from the music team. Ouch! That was feedback. It's caused by the microphone picking up audio from the speakers. It can ruin a great recording. Now, here are 2 tips to avoid feedback. If your church uses foldback speakers, do not send the audio from the preacher's microphone into your foldback. And make sure your preacher doesn't wander too close to the speaker boxes. And the best way to get the best sound recording is to, I'll say it again, make a recording. Do a test, listen back, and see if you have any of the following issues. Is there too much hiss? Or possibly the recording volume on the recording device is too high. Compensate for this by decreasing your recording volume and increasing your auxiliary volume. Are there any clicks or pops? Well, this could be a faulty connection somewhere in the system. Check the connection between the microphone and the transmitter, or it could be interference between transmitter and receiver. This has to be dealt with because it's impossible to remove later. Was the recording level too low? Increase the microphone volume on the auxiliary knob. The voice must be clear over the top of any background noise. Was the recording distorted? This can't be fixed later. Find which volume control is turned up too high and reduce it a bit. Remember to keep an eye on the meter in the recording software. If there is too much room echo, move the microphone closer to the preacher's mouth and reduce the recording level slightly. Soft materials like carpet and plants can reduce room echo. And finally, up till now, we've said send only the preacher's microphone to the recording device. Now, this is the way to get the best, clearest sound possible. However, this recording is being made at a live church service with real people who react to what the preacher is saying. If you find that your recordings are a little bit dry and you need a bit more audio from the congregation, you could place 1 or 2 condenser microphones around the auditorium to pick up the ambient sound. Again, they are plugged into the mixer and they are sent to the recorder via the same auxiliary loop. But don't send their audio to the speakers because that will cause feedback. Listen carefully and control these congregational microphones. If their level is too high, they will pick up too much room echo on the preacher's voice, making it unclear. Okay, well that's more than enough to think about. In our next video, video 4, we'll learn some great hints about editing your sermon recording. Happy broadcasting.